Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and today we're going to have a preview, that's right, a preview, not a review, sorry, of Detective Pikachu, because it's finally coming to the West, and it's been a long time coming. In fact, I think, it's been about 2 years or something. This preview was originally written by the wonderful Ryan Craddock, and has been adapted for video by me. By which I mean, I'm not the one who's played it. And I'm very, very sad at this. But anyway, enough waffling, let's dive right into things. With no solid news as of yet of the Pokemon game or games destined for Switch, the attention of Pocket Monster fans around the globe will no doubt be falling to Detective Pikachu. The game, which has already seen a staggered release in Japan, seems to be part of a franchise that the Pokemon Company deeply believes in, with a live-action film currently in the works starring some pretty big names indeed, including, I think, Deadpool. Our preview session gave us a good look at the game's first 3 chapters, which made up the first full release in Japan, and our immediate impression from the very first opening cinematic was one of pleasant surprise. Right from the off, one thing that stands out about this game is that we haven't seen a Pokemon game quite like it before, which should be obvious. Sitting somewhere between the likes of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon and the core series, Detective Pikachu gives you a great sense of how humans and Pokemon live together, allowing you to properly see both sides of that dynamic. Detective Pikachu himself is undoubtedly the star of the show. Whilst the initial shock of seeing that cute little mouse we've adored for 20 years suddenly turn into a gruff, heavy coffee-drinking sass machine took us slightly off guard, he soon had everyone in the room chuckling away at his patronising little comments. Working alongside Tim, the human hero of the story, the duo seem to click rather nicely together, and it's easy to see how a similar pairing could work on the big screen. The gameplay sees the two tackling cases together, with Tim talking to potential human witnesses and Pikachu talking to other Pokemon in the city. Only Tim can understand what Pikachu is saying, which aside from working as a comedic effect, also feels like it will play a part in the grand scheme of the plot. As you approach a witness, you can ask them questions from a menu of options, gathering little nuggets of information which will later be used to crack each case. As you discover more and more info, you'll also be able to go back and talk to the same people or Pokemon for a second time to ask them new questions based on your latest findings. Think LA Noire with electric mice. The bottom screen houses menus that keep all of the information you've uncovered safely written down for you. If you forget what someone has said, you can just check back through all the notes there. Once you and Pikachu have collected enough information, your electric buddy will prompt you to solve the case, tasking you with remembering what has been said and piecing different bits of the puzzle together. For the most part, this is all very standard, easy stuff, but you do have to pay attention to what's going on unless you want to just guess your way through Pikachu's quizzes. Aside from this gameplay loop, there are sections that contain QuickTime events where you have to press the A button at the right time to trigger the next cutscene. There's no real penalty for missing these though, as you'll usually just be treated to a slightly different scene, which is far better than what can be said for Bayonetta 1. The giant Pikachu amiibo that is releasing alongside the game at launch allows you to unlock and watch all of the possible cutscenes in the game, meaning that you won't have to replay through each section to see all of Pikachu's different reactions, but at the same time, if you don't buy the amiibo, you're not missing out on any content. One moment early on saw a bothersome group of Aipom throwing hot dogs at Tim, with the A button being needed to dodge them. This then saw a hot dog fly to Pikachu, who comically ate it whilst talking about tomato ketchup, which is obviously a reference that only poker nerds will get. If you didn't press A, Tim just got repeatedly hit in the face with food until you gave in and helped him, so it's a win-win really. Despite the occasional hiccup in our guesswork, our playtime hinted at a potentially easy overall difficulty. It seems that you'll always be able to find the information you need as long as you make sure to talk to just about everyone. Having an understanding of the Pokemon universe before playing will also enable players to get through certain sections quicker, but newcomers should still be able to find their way around just as well. One last interesting thing to note is that the first 2 chapters have a quite limited linear feel to them. Chapter 3 on the other hand seems to open up the game a little bit further, containing a corridor which points off to a selection of different rooms, with a map on the bottom screen making the whole thing look like a game of Cluedo. That's what we call Clue in the UK. This area has much more of a traditional point-and-click feel to it, with the duo having to collect key evidence and information along the way. Overall, we feel excited to continue our story in Rhyme City. We're cautiously optimistic that the difficulty steps it up a notch or two, maybe with the inclusion of some more new ideas, but we're looking forward to where the game will go from here. Being able to communicate with Pokemon in a completely new way, and therefore learning more about their feelings, quirks, and individual personalities may well be enough to sell the game to fans of the series already, but only time will tell whether or not the gameplay matches that standard as we progress. Make sure to keep an eye out for our full review over on NintendoLife.com in the coming weeks. Detective Pikachu lands on the 3DS on the 23rd of March.